So if we look back at the original early church right after Jesus, the 12 disciples and the followers immediately after, what we see and what historians actually believe is that the church went from 12 people to millions in 300 years, which is a relatively short period of time to go from 12 to millions, and possibly as many as 20 million. I don't put a whole lot of faith in a specific number like that, but I think millions is fair to say. From 12 to millions in 300 years. Then at that time in 310 AD, Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire. They made it an institution. They put in a hierarchy. They had ordination, which means they have subordination. And so really the church got hijacked in a lot of ways for a long time. And there's been series of reformations over time to fix that original hijacking. If we fast forward to today, we have about 2 billion Christians around the world, and we have around 150, maybe up to 200 million in the US. So that kind of is interesting when you think about it in that way, because as American Christians, we kind of have this like pride that we are kind of the center of Christianity around the world, and yet we're 150 million out of 2 billion. Also, when you look at what has happened in the building of churches and missionaries in countries like China, India, Africa, over the last 50 years, is that we've seen movements similar to that original early church movement, where we have gone from very little, like close to zero Christians in countries, to millions in the matter of decades. And so I think we need to learn a little bit from these missionaries, these churches globally, and bring that back to America. Because what is our current reality in American church? Well, the reality is that America has really become a post-Christian culture and is becoming increasingly so. So many people, especially young, and by young I mean like, I don't know, especially in the under 25, but really at this point, even up to, your 60-year-olds or so that grew up in the 60s, we have a very low trust of institutions compared to previous generations. And we have 3,500 churches that are closing every year in the United States, 3,500 every year. We have about 50% of Americans that go to church. And for context, most of the 20th century hovered between 75 and 70%, and it dropped 20% from about 70 to 50% just in the last 20 years. So it's a dramatic fall. And when you look at polls, recent polls of asking people what they think about Christians or the church, the main things that people say, the main thing that we're known for is being judgmental and scandals, whether it's the Catholic Church or big name evangelical or Protestant leaders having scandals. That's what we're known for. So, we have this vision of what we want to be. We have awesome examples in the past and even recent years. But the reality in the US is pretty bleak. So something needs to change.